championship. Well, in this case, the end result is 23-year-old Darrin Van Horn. He's a young man who's already had more fights, 49, than most fighters who are 10 years older than he is. But he comes in here tonight as a two-time champion, looking to gain more respect and more recognition. But most of all, he hopes to come up with win number 48 as he goes in against Iran Barkley. Kentucky has a rich history of wartime. Darrin schoolboy Van Horn enrolled at the University of Kentucky. He already had 25 pro wins, 19 by KO. Despite the impressive record, critics immediately questioned the team's defensive skill.
I fought because I like to fight. I like to mix it up. Granted, I get hit a lot. That's me. I like to do it.
Van Horn's first boxing diploma was awarded after the IBF junior middleweight title clash with Robert Bam Bam Hines.
I trained to go right at him. After the first round, I realized that's not going to work because he was as strong as I was, and I started boxing him. And that ended up winning the fight for me a lot easier than it would have if I'd have slugged with him.
But newfound notoriety took its toll, sabotaging the fraternity kids title against Gianfranco Rossi.
I went out there not mentally prepared. I was ready to go out and look pretty. Bam. I got hit in the first round, I got knocked down, and I said, that's never going to happen again. Losing the title to him, the way I lost it, makes you grow up real fast.
With dad, trainer, manager, GL at his side, the next big test came in a heavier weight division. The challenge against reigning IBF king Lindell Holmes fueled growing doubts about his own ability.
When I got a call to fight at super middleweight, truthfully, I thought, well, I lost and I wasn't that great. I mean, I think, it's going to be an easy win and that Darrin's on his way out.
As a 168-pounder, new strength emerged. The upset KO win over the champ made him a 22-year-old two-time title holder. But from the beginning, the fight game has meant more than wins and losses to the UK senior.
If I wasn't boxing, I couldn't go to school. My major is broadcast journalism. And if there's a business today that has to do with more of who you know than what you know, I think this is the business. The farther that I get in boxing, the bigger hand up that I'm going to get when I go into that kind of field. They go hand in hand.
Before Van Horn's dream of becoming a TV commentator can come true, the young thoroughbred must pass Iran Barkley in tonight's dangerous battle. Barkley is a tough veteran. He slugged the best middleweights in the world, topped off in 1988 with his crushing KO over Tommy Hearns for the championship. The Blade says he's the teacher, ready to throw the collegian out of class.
Because the way he fights, he's going to bring the best out of me. He's overlooking me. He's looking past me. And like my past foes, he's going to lose.
And it's about time for our main event, the IBF Super Middleweight Championship of the World. Defending champion Darrin Van Horn against Iran Barkley. And for all the action, let's go down to ringside and Lynn Berman. Lynn?
Thank you, Cambrell. The storyline for this fight is headlined by the relative health of these two boxers. Iran Barkley has a surgically repaired left retina, 2 operations. A lot of controversy over the condition of that left eye. Doctors have cleared him to fight tonight.
Well, the same type of controversy that surrounded the Sugar Ray Leonard Marvin Hagler fight a few years back, and you saw what happened there. If the doctors pass him here, and I understand a wonderful ophthalmologist here in New York passed him, said everything was all right, that's good enough for the commission and me, and the fight goes on.
Now for the story that few know about. Darrin Van Horn told us today he has a very sore right hand. Barkley doesn't know it. He may find out in a hurry. That right hand could pose a problem.
That's right. Besides his camp and us, he really hasn't told anybody else, and it is severely swollen. It looks very bad. He's going to have to do a wonderful tape job on that to keep that thing held together tonight.
When you think about it, maybe it's the Lord's way. If somebody has a questionable left eye, you give the other fighter a weak right hand.
Well, that certainly evens things out.
All right, let's check out our Goosen's Corner, beginning with the South Bronx local favorite, Iran Barkley.
Iran Barkley, what a tough customer. He's fought everybody from soup to nuts in the middleweight division. Here he is tonight. He's got to keep a tight defense because Van Horn is a sharp puncher. He's got to move that head, and they say he's got a better defense now. Constant pressure, as usual, and lots of left hooks because that right hand is going to be sore, and if he keeps bouncing that left hook off that right hand, who knows, it may worsen it and, do better for Barkley in this fight.
And Iran Barkley, the former WBC middleweight champion. Grew up in the South Bronx as a gang member. He's always had that tough exterior. Surprised the world in 1988 with that TKO win over Thomas Hearns. Lost to Roberto Darrin. Lost to Michael Nunn. Lost to Nigel Benn. Before the Benn fight in '89, that's when he had that left retina surgically repaired and didn't fight for a year. A lot of questions about Iran Barkley, and this could very well, Joe, be his last stand tonight.
Oh, that's he even said in the room when we interviewed him, he says, if Darrin Van Horn beats me, I will retire. No questions asked.
And he has his arm around the former champion, Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, who's his trainer. And Eddie Mustafa, likable former champ, leads Iran Barkley into the ring. (27-7) with 16 knockouts. Slower fighter, not particularly defensive in nature, catches lots of punches with his chin. But on a sad note, he is dedicating this fight to his late brother Frankie, who died during the holidays of cancer. And now let's check out Goosen's corner for the champion, Darrin Van Horn.
Van Horn, very impressive, really, in his move up in weights here, knocking out Lindell Holmes. He's really got to keep his distance against from Iran Barkley. Use lateral movement, really encircle Barkley with his foot speed, and use combinations. If he does all that, he should clearly be able to outbox Iran Barkley.
And there is the schoolboy, 6 credits shy of his broadcast journalism degree at the University of Kentucky. The former IBF junior middleweight champ, lost to Gianfranco Rossi, and then lost to him a second time. But he knocked out Lindell Holmes in the 11th round to win the IBF super middleweight title this year, and this is his second defense. Feels stronger, he's gained 20 pounds, had a couple of knockouts. 8 years younger than Barkley, but he's been fighting since 16, really 15 illegally. He's had many more fights, but Barkley has had the tougher opponents. Here's Darrin Van Horn. 47-2 with 27 knockouts. Those 2 losses to Gianfranco Rossi. And our tail of the tape with Van Horn, 8 years younger, 2 inches smaller, and the weight and reach similar. Now let's check out our CompuBox pre-fight statistics, Joe.
Right. Well, you see here now. This is an average of 2 fights here. 94 punches per round thrown by Barkley with a 42 connect percentage. Of course, the 2 opponents they base that on, I think, were inferior quality guys. I think it'll even out in this fight. Of course, he's got a much higher connect percentage than Van Horn. Of course, average jabs are here again. Van Horn, though, uses a lot of lead right hands. He doesn't use a lot of jabs compared to Barkley. And, of course, that could be a big, big thing for Barkley tonight, using that jab, really keeping Van Horn off balance, especially since his right hand is bad. He may not be able to counter that jab with that right hand.
And the rules for our IBF championship fight tonight, the 10-point must system, no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule, cannot be saved by the bell in any of the 12 rounds. And as I'm telling you the rules, the 2 fighters have to be separated. They want to go at each other. They've been jawing and gesticulating at one another. And you see Barkley being held off as he dances over towards Van Horn. Van Horn saying, yeah, come on.
I've never seen Barkley really this pumped up for a fight. He looks very menacing right now in that ring, and they've got to do everything to hold him back.
I want to see what it's going to be like when they're drawn together by Arthur Mercanti Jr. for the pre-fight instructions. All right now let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the pre-fight introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, Main Events Incorporated, in association with Madison Square Garden Boxing and Cedric Kushner Productions, presents the featured bout of the evening. This bout is sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission, Chairman Randy Gordon, Commissioners Rose Trenton and Herb Washington, Executive Deputy Commissioner Richard S. Herring, Chief Medical Officer at ringside Dr. Barry Jordan, attending physicians Dr. Rufus Sadler and Dr. William Lathan, the timekeeper Cecilio Pedraja. This bout is also sanctioned by the International Boxing Federation, President Robert W. Lee, Supervisor at ringside Robert W. Lee, Jr. The judges assigned to ringside who will score this bout on a 10-point must system are John Stewart, Barbara Perez, and Nick Cimino. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action, referee Arthur Mercanti. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the beautiful new Paramount here in New York City's Madison Square Garden, let's get ready to rumble! 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF Super Middleweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks with red trim, weighing an even 168 pounds. His record 27-7, 16 KOs. He's from the Bronx in New York City. Tonight, he's the challenger. Ladies and gentlemen, the former middleweight champion of the world, Darrin Barkley. And across the ring in the blue corner, his opponent, wearing the white trunks with blue letters and weighing an even 167 pounds. This two-time world champion has a professional record with 47 victories, only 2 defeats, 27 KOs. From Lexington, Kentucky, ladies and gentlemen, the IBF Super Middleweight Champion, Darrin Schoolboy Van Horn.
All right, here we go for the instructions.
Good evening, Blade. Schoolboy. We both received the rules earlier in the dressing room. I expect you to obey these rules. Let's have a nice, clean fight. Touch gloves. Good luck to the both of you. Touch gloves!
The handlers came in from both sides, making sure they didn't get any closer than that.
Let's go. Second down.
G.L. Van Horn, the father, Darrin Van Horn in this corner. This should be interesting, Joe.
Wow. I've never seen Darrin Barkley this pumped up.
Stop moving now. Break. Keep it clean.
One thing to note, the gloves they're wearing in this fight are the puncher's gloves. They're a much thinner glove than the other gloves worn in the last 2 fights we've seen. These are Reyes gloves, Mexican gloves, and these can cut. And Barkley, it can cut you, and Barkley is susceptible to cuts.
Wearing 10-ounce gloves. Staggering the left hand from Barkley. Van Horn off balance after the left from Iran. Another left from Barkley.
Well, he almost caught Van Horn with a clean left hook pulling straight back, and that's what he can't do. That's what Barkley does best, is go straight forward. So don't go straight back, step off to the side. Just like that.
Van Horn missing with the punches.
They're both throwing
another short left.
Excuse me, they're both throwing very hard shots right now. See the redness around the rib cage of Van Horn already from those left hooks from Darrin Barkley. Arthur McCanny should warn Darrin Barkley about his head in there. He's putting that head right up in the middle of the face of Darrin Van Horn.
Let's go. Keep it clean.
Keeping that head down. He was caught by Van Horn.
Boy, he just got Van Horn with a nice sharp left hook to the eye. A little bit lower, that could have wobbled Van Horn if it hit him on the chin.
And trading punches with a minute to go in an action-packed first round.
Okay, break.
Anything with the hand yet from Van Horn?
Well, he's whipping that right hand in, but look at the redness around the left side of the right side of the face of Van Horn from that left hook he got caught with.
Go ahead, Darrin. Break. Step back.
And Mercanti telling Barkley to move the head. Moves in with the left hand, glancing to the left. Another quick left hand from Barkley.
Van Horn stepped around and landed a little right hand of his own. I've never seen, really, in the past year and a half, 2 years, I haven't seen Darrin Barkley look this good.
Another good left from Barkley. And the combination successful from Barkley. The crowd on its feet. Wow. Barkley, supposedly in medical danger, some thought washed up, getting the better of the champion, Darrin Van Horn, here in the first round. And the crowd loves it.
That's patented Iran Barkley right there.
Suck out there. You got to throw more straight punches. Look, Darrin, you're throwing the same kind he is. You got, real wide, hard punches. Huh? Yeah. No, we're right there.
All right, here we go. That's the left hook that I was talking about that landed on the eye of Darrin Van Horn. Not a real clean shot, but a hard one. All right, you see that punch bounced off of the right hand of Darrin Van Horn, and he really did drop it, whether it was out of pain or just a movement, I don't know.
Good, he's hurt. Good, Iran, he's hurt.
And I will tell you that Barkley breathing heavily after that first round. Barkley also told us, if I lose to this guy, I quit.
Well, Van Horn told us, remember today when he sparred yesterday, which was quite, I found that very interesting. He sparred the day before a fight, but he said he wanted to test out his right hand, and every time he got hit with a left hook and sparring off his right hand, it really cost him a lot of pain.
Barkley taking some shots. The left hand of Van Horn finding the range. Oh! Down goes Van Horn!
Van Horn is really hurt badly. If he gets hit with one more punch, his fight will be over. If he gets hit with a left hook like that, he's out.
Crowd again on its feet. Iran Barkley trying to become the champion. What a story! I don't know how he's standing. There he goes again.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
No 3 knockdown rule. This fight can go on as long as the referee lets it or the doctor.
A lot of time remaining in the second round.
Barkley just pasting Darrin Van Horn with left hooks. But what guts on Van Horn's part, standing up and trying to slug with him. There's a long way to go in this round, 1 minute 30 left, and Barkley is just having his way with Darrin Van Horn.
Ready to go a third time. And that's it.
That is
Iran Barkley is the IBF Super Middleweight Champion.
Iran Barkley was a man possessed tonight. I've never seen him look like that, really. Even when he fought Michael Nunn, he didn't come out like that.
And now they hug.
Wow, what a performance by Iran Barkley when people thought he was washed up through, his eye was bad, and here he comes out and knocks out really a classy, tremendous fighter.
Bob Arum there criticized in many quarters for throwing him into this fight. He said Barkley wasn't ranked. How did he get a fight like this? He shouldn't be fighting. And here he is, the IBF Super Middleweight Champion. This is some story written tonight in the reopening of the Paramount. And undoubtedly we will hear one more fighter tonight saying that he wants Tommy Hearns next. That certainly would be the case for Barkley. Let's take a look at the damage done by Barkley here in the third round. That stunning left hook for the knockdown. That was the first knockdown, and we'll show you another angle. Boom. What a blow. Van Horn got up from that one, and coming up the second knockdown here in the third round. Just hanging on. I mean, he's out right here on his feet. Hanging on for dear life. Midway through just the second round. He goes down 3 times. He was not stopped because of the 3 knockdowns. There's a no 3 knockdown rule. But referee Arthur McCanty stopped it at that point. This will be the third knockdown. At will, the right, the left. Down goes the schoolboy who really learned a lesson here tonight. And let's get the official decision from Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Arthur McCanty stops the bout at 1 minute and 33 seconds of the second round. The winner, he's now a two-time world champion, this homeboy from the Bronx, and new super middleweight champion of the world, Iran, Barkley.
He has the right to be happy, having not won a major fight in 3 years. The boxing public and the experts and the media, they had written off Iran Barkley, and here he stands tonight in 1992, really 4 years later, as the IBF super middleweight champion. And if you like boxing statistics, would you believe the man threw 2 jabs in the fight? And he's the champion here in stunning fashion.
We to the big champ.
Now, let's all stand right here. Let's go to Joe Goosen in the ring, standing by with the champion, Iran Barkley. There's the belt.
That's where it belongs.
All right, Iran Barkley, you are the new IBF champion. How the heck did you look so darn good? Let's face it, in the past couple fights you've had, you know, not all that great looking. A lot of people wrote you off. You looked slow in a few of your fights, not so determined. Tonight you came out like a man possessed and did everything beautifully.
Well, first I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And, you know, we worked hard. My trainer, Eddie Mustafa, we worked hard. And I paid the price. You know, I was willing to pay the price. And that's what I did. You know, I worked hard. I don't think I would have let this guy beat me if I was drunk. You know what I'm saying? I mean it. You know, he was I respected him as a champ, but, you know, I just had too much for him.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with Darrin Van Horn. He's a heck of a fighter. I watched a lot of tape like I'm sure you did. You beat a good fighter tonight, a champ of the world.
Oh, most definitely I did, you know. I came to beat him. But now, you know, I want to move on. I want to move on.
All right.
I want a rematch with Tommy. You want me, baby? Come and get me. I want you. I want you.
Now.
I come and get me. I give it to you. I told you I'll let you fight.
You're talking about Tommy Hearns, I take it.
That's right. I'm talking about Tommy. He's the man now, but I want you.
No, you the man.
I'm the man.
You the man. That's what he
want
meant. He meant you were the man, right? That's what you meant,
right.
Iran.
That's right. I mean I'm the man. Me and you, that great champ you are, we can get it on. Let's get it on. Let's get it on, Tommy. Don't procrastinate. Let's go.
All right, Tommy Hearns is at 175 pounds. You're the 168-pound champion. You want him to come down, or you want to go up?
Hey, I'll go up to him. I'll meet him up there. I'll go up there. I'll go anywhere you want me to go. I'll be there. Come on and try my title. Put yours and come on and try mine. This is the real deal. Come on. This is the real deal. The real deal. I want to say what's up to everybody in Las Vegas, to my main man, Petey, Lil Petey, LJ, and Panama, my man.
All right, Iran. Listen, that's a lot of hellos here. Let's get back to the fight real quick. You came out like a ball of thunder. What was it that you really did that overwhelmed Darrin Van Horn tonight?
Well, it was just that I just concentrated and I listened to my trainer. He said, go ahead and butcher them all. I said, okay, he want to make it a street fight? Let's do it. I wanted to go with 8 jabs and stuff, but you know, I could come back and get it.
All right, Iran.
I gotta listen.
Iran, listen, it was a wonderful performance by you. You're the champ of the world again. I know you're going on to bigger and better things, and I'm going to throw it back to Len Berman ringside. Thank you very much, Iran.
I want to thank TVKO. Y'all the best. Y'all the best.
And he's hoisted on his shoulders. Take a look at some final CompuBox statistics. Look at what Barkley threw. Look what he landed, 56% to just 29%. As Iran Barkley, as Joe described from the very beginning, looked and acted like a man possessed. And the jabs that we were talking about, Darrin Van Horn landed 2. Barkley threw just 2, landed 1. Well, he did have a 50% jab connection percentage, but What a story with Iran Barkley here in his hometown of New York City, regaining a championship belt. And he called TVKO the best. Well, we're not going to respond to that, but I will tell you this is our 8th card on TVKO since its inception with Holyfield Foreman back in April. And so far, champions Michael Nunn, Loreto Garza, Tony Lopez, and now Darrin Van Horn have all lost their belts in this short period of time. TVKO, if not the best, is certainly becoming the network of former boxing champions. Now let's go back up to Joe Goosen, who has one of those former champs, Darrin Van Horn, with him.
All right, Darrin, I got to ask you right off the bat, did that right hand play a part in you losing your belt tonight?
You know, when I won the title the 2 previous times, when I lost, they came up with a lot of excuses. You know, I have to say whether or not it did, if I thought that my right hand was going to make me lose the title, I wouldn't have fought.
Did it hurt you when you were punching with the knife?
No, not at all, not at all. It's, you know, early I was real leery of throwing it, and it kind of made me not really get into it as quick as I wanted to. I got caught early, and you know, Barkley had it on tonight. I got caught real early, and my legs never came back.
Was your head clear after that first knockdown? It seemed like actually the second time you went down, you kind of cleared up. Was it that your head cleared up, but your legs just didn't come back to you?
See, the funny thing was, I thought that when you get hit like that and you get dropped like that, I thought that, you know, you're not thinking straight and you don't really know what's going on. I was down right when I went down. I knew exactly what was going on. I said, I can't believe it. I said, I might as well, you know, take a few seconds here, get back up. When I got up, my head was completely clear, but I had absolutely no legs. When I was walking, I felt I had no legs. When I would bob, when I dip and I'd bend my knees, it was hard for me to pick back up. So one of them was a punch. I forget what I got. I don't forget if it was the second or third one. I got hit by one of them. It was a good shot, but if I had my legs, I could have kept myself up, and I had absolutely no legs. I couldn't keep myself up. You know, I can't take anything away from him. The guy was ready, and he caught me early.
Where do you go from here, Darrin?
I really don't know. This isn't going to be a setback for me because I myself know I just wasn't mentally right. It was my fault. I have nobody else to blame but myself. But the guy, you know, here I am. I'd love to fight him again. I got caught early. And when I got back up, my head was clear as a bell, but I just didn't have any legs.
All right, Darrin. Hopefully we'll see you again, and maybe we'll get that rematch, hopefully, with Iran Barkley. All right. Len, I'm going to send it back to you now, ringside. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joe Goosen. So those who brought the belts with them tonight handed them over to their opponents, with Andrew Maynard losing his NABF light heavyweight championship belt. He hands it over to Frank Tate, and Darrin Van Horn, the schoolboy from Lexington, Kentucky, giving up his belt to Iran Barkley. So 2 belts changing hands. We also saw that early first-round knockout by Roy Jones Jr. over Jorge Vaca. So it's been quite a story at the reopening of the Paramount in New York City. And as we continue on TVKO, and who knows now what will happen in February with Larry Holmes and Ray Mercer. So for Joe Goosen and our guest analyst, Bert Sugar at ringside, I'm Len Berman. Let's send you back to our host now, Cambrell Marshall.
Thank you very much, Len Berman. As you mentioned, certainly a good way to christen the new Paramount Theater for boxing. The old Felt Forum certainly rocked and rolled, and I think we christened it very well here starting out in 1992. An action-packed evening for those of you who may have tuned in a little bit late. The first fight of the evening, Roy Jones Jr. continues on his streak, hoping to go into the middleweight ranks now very possibly. He goes to 16-0 after his first-round knockout of Jorge Vaca. The NABF Light Heavyweight Championship changing hands tonight. Andrew Maynard losing that title to Frank Tate, who came and took it in 11th round TKO. And then as we continue our tradition here on TVKO, the IBF Super Middleweight Championship changing hands as well. So an action-packed night at TVKO, and after you've been with us since April, what more do you expect? Now, we have some scores for you to bring you up to date. There were some earlier we talked about. The rest of them, remember back in April when George Foreman stepped in against Evander Holyfield, there were those who couldn't believe that a former champion could come out and perform well. Larry Holmes, a former champion, says, hey, I can do that as well. That's going to be our February 7th fight coming up from Atlantic City. Larry Holmes stepping in against the best talent he's faced so far this year, that's for sure. He's stepping in against merciless Ray Mercer.
Get ready for TVKO's February Fight of the Month live on pay-per-view cable TV.